listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Hello and welcome back to Grave Discussions, episode number 13, lucky number 13.
Yes.
I am your host, Barnabas.
And I am your co-host, Samael.
And today we have a pretty interesting podcast for you guys. We're going to be talking about none other than a little found footage horror film called The Monster Project.
You've probably seen it. You should have by now.
Yeah,
It's everywhere.
It is everywhere. I still feel like it's pretty low key though, but yeah, I agree. It's on Amazon Prime. Like you can find it pretty much wherever, and people are actually talking about it, a little bit. But it came out last year now, so it's not like quite as new. But yeah, I mean, I recently saw it and I really liked it. Actually, I didn't think I was going to, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
because it seemed like so CGI heavy, and it kind of was, but
they did it right.
Yeah, I think they did a great job.
Like usually, I I think we can both come to the common consensus that we like practical effects better than all that CGI shit.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
But this movie, even though it did have an ample amount of CGI, they did it perfectly because I don't know, it didn't really seem super CGI, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You didn't really care because there was just so much tension in the movie.
Yeah, I feel you. We're going to talk about all that, though, because that's coming up in our main segment, and, we're also going to, I think, focus on, how it kind of helped the found footage subgenre, So that'll be interesting for sure. But we're gonna start off as always today with some news for you guys. So I don't know. I feel like it's been kind of a slower news week, but
That seems like it.
yeah. But we've still got a couple articles here that seemed pretty interesting. Not very many, particularly to me, but I don't know. So the first bit of news comes today from the world of television land.
This is sometimes usually pretty good.
Yeah. So American Horror Story is officially going to start filming season 8 in June of this year. So it's coming up real soon. I can't believe there's already been 7 seasons of this show. I haven't watched all of them. I've watched some of a few seasons, but yeah, generally, I think it's pretty good.
I only watched The Asylum, and then once the Witch one started, I wasn't into that, so I stopped.
Yeah, that's fair.
Isn't it?
I really didn't like the first season at all. I only watched a few episodes, but I hated
Bloody Face or whatever the hell.
Yeah, whatever. That dude with the latex suit or whatever.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
That was honestly, I think that was dumb. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't like that one. I did like Asylum. And what else did I watch? I watched some of season 6, and that was trash.
What was season 6?
That Roanoke shit. It's that old legend about Roanoke with the pilgrims or whatever, living in this village, and then all of a sudden they all just disappear one day, and nobody knows why. And it was called Roanoke Island or something.
What is it? Is it aliens?
No, nobody knows. It's
so
just
what the fuck? Why is
it's
it
just like a legend.
So what the hell happens in the TV show?
I don't know, bro. It's weird. It kind of tries to explain what the actual, what happened actually, and they reveal that it's these cultists or some shit. I don't know. It was dumb.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And then
I believe you.
And then season 7, I only watched the first few episodes, but it seemed to be about
I thought this was a
Donald Trump's America. Like, this dude is like a cult member of Donald Trump. He fucking crushes Cheetos and and like paints his face with them, so he's like orange, but he's got Cheetos on his face.
What the fuck?
I don't know, bro. It's fucking weird.
Are you serious?
I'm super serious. That's really a thing that happened.
Oh my god.
And then it's exploring how, like, you know,
I didn't know this
like
shit.
Trump supporters basically are fucking evil and like shit like that.
Oh yeah, it had its own narrative, I guess.
Yeah.
See, that's what I don't like when they like inject political agendas into
Yeah,
horror. Like it's like
The Purge.
Can you like leave us alone? We watch these things to get away from reality.
Yeah, right. I don't need.
We watch these things to enjoy the movie verse. All right.
Yeah, I don't need it to be real. Fuck that shit.
I don't need that dimension.
Right. It's just like The Purge, because at this point I'm like, damn, that could actually happen. I feel like I'm not even watching.
Yeah,
the movie
man. It's
anymore.
like, wow, thanks for worrying me.
Right.
I just want to see a supernatural killer throw axes at people from 400 feet away and chop 3 heads off at the same time. Is that so much to ask for?
I guess apparently so.
That's what I was expecting.
I don't know. But anyway, the new season's called Radioactive, so I'm assuming it's going to be something science or zombie related.
Probably like mutants.
Yeah, probably. I mean, even that's okay.
Flesh-eating mutants.
There's been some good mutant movies, so we'll see. But that's supposed to start shooting June 16th, and I guess we'll see if it's good or not. If it's some really stupid concept, I don't think it's gonna be
You
that
said
good.
June 19th?
June 16th.
Oh,
My bad.
nice.
Yeah, so it's
probably my bad
pretty
night.
close. Yeah,
I heard that.
and
wrong.
then I believe it'll be released probably later this year, if not like the fall.
I kind of want to watch it, but then like once I start watching it,
Yeah.
and then it like, I don't know, it lets me. I'm usually let down. So
Right, yeah. Well, I don't know. But next up, we've got a pretty interesting bit of news here as well. If any of you are monster movie fans like us, and in particular you like a lot of the Japanese monster movies, like the actual ones out of Japan and shit, then you might already know about this, but I recently watched the new Japanese Godzilla, and I actually really liked it. And they were supposed to start doing Shin Godzilla 2, but now there's been an announcement that the company that created that Godzilla is ditching Shin Godzilla 2 for a shared monster universe.
oh shit.
Which is kind of like what they're doing back here in the States with Universal, I believe, who did like the American Godzilla and Kong Skull Island and shit. So they're going to be trying to establish their own monster universe too, which I'm always kind of a fan of. I just hope that Universal at least doesn't fuck it up. I believe the Japanese movies will be good, because I know you didn't watch Shin Godzilla, but like you've seen some of the Japanese monster movies and shit, so you know how good those are.
Yeah, I love those.
So,
But it looks like they're not doing anything until 2021.
yeah. After 2021, we're thinking of a potential strategy that releases Godzilla movies uninterrupted at a rate of every 2 years, although there is a preference for a yearly pace as well. So yeah, that's interesting. So I guess we're gonna see what's gonna be coming out of Japan. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, maybe if Mothra, King Ghidorah, and all of them would come, that'd be dope. Like new, with like today's technology. So yeah, do you have any more thoughts about that before we move on here?
Nope. Let us keep going.
Cool. So that was actually kind of all the news that we had.
Yeah, it was.
I found some other stuff. There's going to be a new animated series, and there were a few other things I don't even quite remember. Like I said, it's been kind of a slower week.
Yeah, horror's quiet.
A little bit, yeah. But that's okay. Stuff always comes, and that's the beauty of horror movies. Yeah. So right now we're going to move on to the terrifying trailer of the week. And today's terrifying trailer, I actually found this one earlier today, and it seems like it'd be pretty interesting. So,
Down a Dark Hall.
Yep.
That's a good title.
I agree. I like stuff like that.
That seems really like retro.
Yeah. So, like Sam just said, the movie's called Down a Dark Hall, and it's scheduled for release in theaters and on VOD platforms.
Oh my God.
On August 17th.
Oh my God.
2018. So that's close.
Oh my God. Twilight Stephanie Meyer produces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See
Yeah.
how you feel now.
But I am pretty excited though about the rest of the crew and cast because we've got
Uma Thurman's in there.
Yep, but Rodrigo Cortez, who directed Buried, which I don't know if you saw that, but I did. It was the one with Ryan Reynolds just in that like coffin, buried alive for like the whole movie, and he tries to get out. But I don't know. I really liked it. So he's directing this film, Down a Dark Hall. The cast comprised of Uma Thurman. I loved her in Kill Bill. I think she's a phenomenal actress.
She's the best.
Isabel Foreman from Orphan, which I think she played the girl.
The little,
I think so.
the old lady who was pretending to
Or
be
maybe,
an orphan.
yeah. Either that
Maybe
or
it was the
she
mama.
was. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, she's in this. Anna Sophia Robb, I generally like her, and then Noah Silver and Rosie Day, who I haven't heard of, but they're in it as well. So we're gonna watch the trailer, but the movie's basically about like a troubled young girl. Like she's like a wreck. Like her mom can't handle her.
Jeez, take
and
it
shit.
down a notch.
I'm
Jeez.
just
Just say she's struggling. She's unfortunate.
I don't know. Maybe she's just maybe she's just an asshole. You ever thought about that?
She could be. She probably deserves it.
Probably. Shit. Anyway,
We're sociopaths. It's okay.
she gets sent to a boarding school by her mom, and Uma Thurman is the head mistress there. And there's only like 4 other girls there or something, and then like they're exploring the building and shit, and weird stuff happens. It says that they discover the manor has an age-old secret rooted in the paranormal. So that's why I kind of wanted to check this one out, because it's been it hasn't been a while since there's been a good paranormal film, but they come out like less and less frequently,
As
like
long
good
as it's
ones.
not like PG.
Yeah, I agree. I
Or
hope not.
PG-13.
I hope not. So yeah, like Sam mentioned, Twilight's Stephanie Meyer is supposed to be producing this, but she's got some co-producers. There's some other people who will hold her back, like like no, Stephanie,
Like,
we said no sparkles.
But I brought all of my glitter. Look.
Yeah. We'll see. But anyway, we're gonna check out the trailer here. The poster looks pretty cool. It actually looks really similar to The Orphanage. But anyway.
I like the poster.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. So let's check out the trailer here. As always, feel free to watch the video along with us.
That is Down a Dark Hall.
Yeah.
Official trailer.
Smashes. Misdemeanor arrest. And a still pending arson charge.
Dr. Sinclair represents a school. Actually, it's more of an academy.
See, she did deserve it.
Where girls like you could have gone on to do incredible
Yeah,
things.
that does look like a cool
Welcome to Black
location
Widow.
though.
The consequences of your actions have brought each of you here.
Not gonna lie, she still looks really good.
Miss Oblonsky will be collecting your cell phones. That's not fair. Is this a joke?
Your choices have been yours, and yours alone. You a creeper or something? No.
Okay. All right. What do you think?
I can't wait to see what happens, but something's telling me, like, my suspicion is on Uma Thurman's character.
You know what? I think it might be a red herring. I'm gonna say that, so we'll have a bet going on. We'll see.
All right.
You agree?
Yeah.
All right. But so far,
Well, either that or she's like the anti-hero. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Like she'll join up with her or something, even though she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Some shit like that. Yeah, I agree. So, but I actually want to kind of try to start doing this, but for our audience that maybe can't watch the video along with us. So basically, we see, I think that's Anna Sophia Robb, her character, the troublemaker, apparently in for like arson charges or some shit. So yeah, she's probably just an asshole. But she essentially gets sent to this boarding school, and it actually looks really creepy. So I like the location. I like the building. That it's actually taking place at. It's cool. It's kind of like worn down. She gets sent there. She joins up with like the only 4 other chicks that are there, and they just go like exploring, and that's kind of where we're at now. And she's been like talking to people about her behavior. But yeah, it seems like it's got a pretty good atmosphere so far.
I like it.
Yeah, let's continue.
I was just staring at some bitches' rooms.
Do you two mind keeping it down? Some of us are trying to hate this place in peace.
We're all thrilled you're here.
All of you, please, enjoy. Catherine, that part of the building is off limits to the students. Ashley!
man, I really like this so far.
Yeah, me too. It actually looks.
I like that
solid.
cinematography and like the
Me
fucking
too, yeah.
just the darkness, just that
Yeah.
slow panning over the
It-
giant
it-
castle where they're at. You know,
Yeah. It looks like the lighting aspects and just the general like production is really solid so far.
I like the setting too. Do you like
Yeah.
I liked how the wood looked in the building. It just looked
Yeah.
old as shit. It looked like
No, I know
and
exactly what you mean.
This doesn't look like it's anywhere in the U.S. either. So
I don't
like,
think.
and
Yeah, I don't.
it's
I
not.
don't. I don't
So like
think it is.
everything looks kind of like completely different from over here. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I like that like I don't know, that UK-ish type setting. Like,
Yeah.
because it's always dark and raining over there. You know, like in the Netherlands. Like that's so good, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's the best atmosphere to have. I would love to live there.
You know, because I think apart from like rich people's houses in the U.S., the U.S. probably has the most boring fucking like look out of any country.
We do. I love UK.
It's such a weird insult.
UK,
but like, what?
Sweden, Switzerland, all the way to all those
Yeah, it's
places.
all
Like, oh
dope.
my
I mean,
God.
I guess no matter what, if you live somewhere for long enough, you'll probably think it's pretty like bland too. But
Man, I'd
I
love to
don't
go.
know.
The people over there
Yeah.
don't know how good they have it.
For seriously,
And they
though.
have freedom over there too. Do you guys need more freedom? I'm gonna go over there, plant an
Oh
American
my
flag
God.
in the soil. In the name of grave discussions, I claim this land.
Oh man, that would be dope. You just plant a flag with our logo on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like though like what just happened though. Like
Yeah, that was cool.
it was just like da 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 da, darkness, darkness, darkness. People at the table talking. What are you doing here?
Right,
Walking
yeah.
around, stalking us, and then like all of a sudden, this girl's like just riding in 100 miles per hour. They're like, wake
Yeah.
up, and she can't wake up.
You know what I really liked about that though. I was fully expecting her to like start doing that fast writing demonic possession writing shit. Not even that, just like with that stupid like open mouth, like
Yeah, I hate that.
you know, like
But she
alright,
wasn't.
listen.
She was just like fucking. She looked like she was having
Yeah,
like
that
a
was
heart
cool.
attack.
That
like,
that already made me like this movie.
yeah,
you know?
there's not over the top CGI with like the ring
yeah,
face.
yeah, exactly.
Let's see what
So,
happens.
Yeah.
I'm fucking amped.
There's somebody out there.
Thank you for showing me this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh yes,
nice. I couldn't even see what that was, but I like it.
it looked like a figure, like not Slender Man,
Like fatter, slender man,
Last
but
night,
medium-sized man.
medium.
There he is.
flames, it only gets dark.
It almost looks like he's got a coat on.
They robbed this house.
How much you want to bet it's not? Oh shit.
Sometimes when the door to the other side is open.
Wow, that looks
that's
so
a positive
fucking
review.
good, man.
Yeah,
We
I
have
agree.
to. I can't fucking wait for this.
We are gonna go to the theater
Too
to
bad
see
it's in
this for
August,
sure.
bro. It's
I
kind
know.
of heartbreaking. Why at the end of summer?
Yeah, seriously. You know what though? That's kind of good because then you get into fall and then you're actually like more in that horror movie mood.
I don't know.
So-
I'm equally summer and wintertime not so much. Weird enough because we're always indoors in the
Yeah.
winter, but like summertime is like, it's too hot outside. Turn the lights off. Put some shit on that's
I
gonna
would
make you
agree.
have a heart attack.
Just turn the AC on and shit. Yeah,
Yeah, bro.
yeah.
That's
I
the
feel
way.
you. I feel you.
It's the way of the nerds.
But it's okay. We're still gonna go see it no matter what.
so good. This
I-
looks so good.
It really looks great so far. So let's finish it up here and then we'll give our final thoughts and move on.
It's difficult to control what comes in. Dear girl, no one survives this place. We're gonna die here.
Veronica?
Yeah. Yes.
That actually looked like really good practical effects.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, bro. I'm so
Whoa.
glad that wasn't just like
Oh wait.
There's
There's
more.
more. There's more. All right, hold on.
All right.
Let's actually finish it.
pause. Let's see.
I like that camera.
Oh shit. That was nice.
That was actually good. It wasn't like a super in your face jump scare, and I liked that slow camera move. Did you see
Yeah.
that? That was good.
That was really good. Holy shit.
Okay, put this one down in your calendars, horror folks. Okay, Down a Dark Hall, from none other than the producers of the Twilight Saga.
Are making a fire horror movie.
Literally, this looks amazing.
This looks like it's gonna be horror movie of the year to me, possibly.
Ooh,
And that's saying a lot.
That's bold.
I know Halloween's coming out.
That's
but
bold.
We'll see. We don't know what else
We
is
will
coming out
see.
this year.
That's true. Yeah, Hereditary might end up taking it. Who knows?
It could. I mean, it's been
Looks
on.
good.
It hasn't been like recently. They haven't been like like talking about it too much, but you know.
Yeah, because I think it definitely had this period of hype, and then it slowly went away. But people are still really excited about it. Like every week, you'll see like an article at least.
When's
one.
it coming out?
June something, like really soon.
Oh yeah, we watched that trailer, right, for one of our. So we have to see that.
Yeah,
we owe it.
Of course, and we're gonna give you guys a great review on that, and I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. But Down a Dark Hall looks really sick so far.
Really fucking great.
Yeah. So
this is one of the horror movies. Like, by reading the title, you can tell it's good. You know,
see,
like
this is how more modern horror movies should be. Because if they were all like this, wouldn't you watch way more modern stuff?
I mean, it seems like I haven't seen like a paranormal movie like this though.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like it's from any period. It doesn't seem recent. Doesn't seem like 03 to 08, like that whole era. It doesn't seem like early 90s, late 90s. Like it just seems like this is the new shit.
Right.
Like, I think that's what it needs to be.
And you know, like I don't know. I just really like the boarding school.
Yeah,
I like the setting. You know,
it reminds me of Bully, the game.
Yeah.
You remember Bully? I was just thinking about that while I was watching that.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like it's really interesting, even though it's kind of like, you know, practical and almost kind of like typical of a location. I still really like it. Like that other paranormal movie, The Awakening. Did you see that?
What is that about?
The Awakening. It was actually set in an earlier time, but like the 1700s. I don't know, 1700s or some shit, or 1870s or I don't know, something. But it's at a boarding school basically.
Seems like a good concept to me.
Yeah,
like,
and then you know
if you do it right.
It's just
whoever decided those shots and like how to handle the camera work. Like, if that's the director's like choice of direction, great job, bro.
Yeah, you know it's weird because like he had to make a whole movie of a dude just in a coffin being buried alive.
Yeah,
you don't have that many camera angles to take. You know.
Yeah.
So now he's just going like all out. Like balls to the wall. I'm gonna use every camera angle possible.
It seems like a really good, really really good horror movie. I'm gonna guess right now. Once it comes out, it's gonna be. We won't score it less than like 8 out of 10. I bet.
I would say
I'm willing to
probably
bet.
sounds good. Yeah.
I'm willing to bet.
Yeah.
$5.
All right, I got you. $5. So, with that. We're really excited for it. We're gonna move on though to none other than the Cult Corner.
This is my favorite time of the hour because I'm an 80s nerd.
Yeah, same. So, what do we got this week?
This week we have one of the more unknown Jason movies, and that's Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Wait, New Beginning. So we just had a final chapter, so what the fuck is this, you might be asking?
I guess in that order, obviously it makes sense, but yeah, they were definitely trying to ride like the Halloween 3 train, even though that movie was not received well.
It bombed because people were expecting Michael Myers, not because it was a bad movie.
They were like, you know what, 4 Jason movies is good. Why don't we give people another Jason movie, but make it really not about Jason?
I think they were trying to steer the series in another direction. Yeah. Like Jason left Tommy.
Just like Halloween 3 almost, except they still kept Jason, which was lucky for them.
I think by the time Part 6 came out, they decided to trash the idea of 5.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Even though 5 is canon, you know? Like,
I would prefer it not to be, because I don't think it belongs. I know that you kind of like it, though. But, yeah, it definitely is one of the lesser-known Jason movies. But Friday the 13th, in general, is so well-known and so cult, you know, that even Part 5 has fans and followers. So I don't know, but like out of all the Fridays, right? Like, what do you think? Why do you think that Part 5 is so cult?
I think it's because it's underappreciated. Just because there wasn't Jason in the movie as the killer, people think that it's bad. But if you're a slasher nerd like me, and you watch this film, see, films 2, 3, and 4, they had like the same tone, the same like similar score, same feel. Yeah. And then Part 5 feels like a film all on its own, because, you know, it says New Beginning, different score, different mood, different like kind of characters.
But they still kept Tommy Jarvis. Yeah. They were trying to move away from Jason and move into Tommy Jarvis, which is obviously apparent with the release of Part 6.
Yeah. No, what's his name?
But
Corey Feldman made an appearance at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'll find this in his filmography.
Him killing Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In part 4, but I think I like this movie. So basically what happens is there's a fake Jason named Roy. He's dressed up as Jason kind of. He took the Michael Myers overalls and put on a hockey mask with like those blue streaks.
Yeah, blue streaks
That's
instead
how
of red.
Yeah, and you could tell it wasn't Jason because this guy's eyes are like greenish blue.
Yeah.
You know, plus, you know, we just saw Jason get chopped up in the last movie, so we're like, all right, he's allegedly unkillable,
Yeah.
but I don't think, like, I knew it wasn't him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because, like, so basically a paramedic, his son got chopped up. His son was at this halfway house, and he abandoned his son apparently, but he went back to the halfway house and found out his son got chopped up by one of the other patients.
Yeah.
So he lost his shit, used the Jason mask and the overalls to cover himself up with, and then he just started going after people. And it has one of the best, like, villain defeats, I would think, when he falls on those spikes.
I would probably agree with that, yeah. And it's good because you knew he was dead. But, yeah, you know what I did like about this movie, though? Obviously, it has this crazy concept that's really meant to just kill Jason, you know, once and for all, and move into Tommy. And it kind of has that beginning because of the whole, like, PTSD element to the film. Because obviously Tommy Jarvis is fucked up after Jason.
Yeah, he killed his mom and then he had to chop him up. Like,
and you know, we always see him, like, thinking about that shit. Whenever he sees anything, he has, like, anxiety, you know?
yeah, he's like having like a borderline schizo attack. You know, there was some theories too, because all right, have you noticed what's the difference between Roy and Jason, the way they acted? Have you noticed, like, this was the first movie where quote unquote Jason walked? Because 2, 3, and 4 he was sprinting, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden this was the first film where he walked. So the fan theory is that in part 6 Tommy Jarvis resurrected Roy, and that's why that Jason walks.
Oh.
And that's been Roy ever since.
So it's not Jason. Wow.
And he's just rotted away. That's why he looks like that.
That's interesting. But we still saw Jason in, like, part 2 at least. I believe also in part 3. Like, we saw his face, so we knew that he was an ugly motherfucker, and he had that build, you know.
Yeah.
And part 6 Jason is definitely a lot bulkier, I would say, than Roy was.
Yeah, he really was. And Jason was a lot bulkier than Roy. Richard Brooker, who played him in part 3, was a bodybuilder, and he was like 6'2" and just cocked out. You see his traps? Like,
yeah, so unless he just got fucking shredded, like, you know, in the afterlife or something, I don't think that's Roy. But it is interesting.
Roy wasn't that big. He was like my size, you know?
Yeah, exactly. In part 6, Jason was he was a monster, remember?
He was.
So.
And he was a monster in part 3 too.
It's basically like going from the dude who played Michael in the original to fucking I believe Kane Hodder in the remakes, or whoever it was, I don't remember.
In the remake?
Yeah.
I don't think Kane played Jason in the remake.
I don't remember. Anyway, whoever it was in the remake.
I think the last time Kane played him was in Jason X.
Yeah, possibly. But you know, remake Michael is like humongous.
Yeah, he's 6'8". Tyler Mane. He played what's his name? Sabretooth, was it?
I don't know.
In X-Men, yeah, I think. He played Beast, I think.
Something.
But he's a giant, bro. Like, that's not what Michael Myers was. Right. Nick Castle, the guy who played him in the first one, he was 5'10".
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just imagine, like, the difference, you know. So I don't think it could be Roy, unless Satan was just like, all right, you can be 6'6".
Yeah. And then there was another fan theory that Roy is actually Jason's real dad too.
Oh, yeah, because we never learn about his real dad, right?
Yeah. If you ignore the comics, like the comics say, it's like something Voorhees. I forgot his fucking name. It's not important, but that could be him. Like, I mean, like,
I feel like it definitely has to be.
That would explain, like, how he got hit by that big ass fucking bulldozer and he just got up.
Yeah, he
got stabbed in the nutsack. Like,
right.
He was afraid of that chainsaw though.
Yeah, it's
but
true.
It's still plausible. I mean, if he had another slow kid who he left at a halfway house, it's possible that he could have, like, been the guy to, you know.
Well, who knows?
Conceive Jason, because he was like
that's interesting.
He was like 50 years old in the Friday the 13th Part 5.
I feel like that's the fan theory now that we have Friday the 13th the way that it is. But, you know, back when that movie came out, I doubt that was the reasoning behind it, because they were really trying to get away from Jason.
They really were. They were trying to put the
So I don't
focus on
think so.
Tommy. That's why at the end of part 5, Tommy with the new mask and a knife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were still trying to make Jason, but not really. You
Yeah,
know?
like the spirit of Jason.
Right.
Like the whole the Jason Goes to Hell concept before it came out. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's how they came up with the Jason Goes to Hell thing.
Probably. Yeah. And by that point, people were associating it with the Evil Dead and shit, and they brought the Necronomicon
Yeah.
and Freddy and
It was crazy.
Yeah, I
I don't know.
agree.
Jason just took he did take a whole new direction after this movie, though.
He really did. Yeah, he really did. Because before that, he wasn't really like supernatural.
He wasn't. He was just like
you know?
he was just like this deranged hillbilly that like survived drowning because he was bullied.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. It was. I'm glad that if this film didn't exist, part 6 wouldn't exist, and then
That's probably true, yeah.
Jason wouldn't have like been what he was.
Yeah, people probably had the same reaction to part 5 as they did to Halloween 3. They were like, you know what, just bring him back.
Yeah.
We don't care anymore. We saw your effort and you fucking failed. Just bring him back.
I don't know. What do you think about part 5?
Honestly, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the way they approached Tommy Jarvis was pretty cool, but then like cheap, like, hey, he's not really dead. We're gonna make Tommy Jarvis Jason.
Yeah.
That was cheap as fuck. That was such a cop out. I didn't like that part. Obviously, I like the character of Tommy Jarvis. I think he's really interesting, and probably one of the best horror characters ever. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
But I didn't like the way that they ended that movie with him. I think the rest of it was pretty great because he was dealing with his like PTSD and dealing with his problems, you know, and shit. Because those are movies I like when we see like the victim of something deal with shit. I feel like that's interesting.
Yeah, like the inner struggle makes it all worth it because they're about to go through something even more traumatic.
That's why I love the Scream movies, because we see Sidney Prescott's whole experience with that too. You know, after dealing with Ghostface like through fucking 4 times. So
right, he just keeps just some crazy dude just keeps like coming back and like keeps bothering her.
At this point, if it would have been happening for that long, I'd just be like, you know what, I have no chance. She's gonna find a way out of this somehow, and fucking
Yeah.
So I don't know, but overall, I mean, part 5 was a decent slasher movie, but the direction they took Jason in, didn't like it. They should have just fucking at that point they should have just made it Roy Burns, the fucking killer paramedic or whatever, like don't make him don the Jason costume.
Then it's gonna be like Paramedic Massacre. Then the whole series would have just died.
Yeah, Crystal Lake paramedical disaster
and then
or something.
Then the killer from Slumber Party Massacre meets the killer from Paramedic Massacre.
Oh man, Slumber Party Paramedic Massacre. So anyway, I don't know. I definitely agree that it's cult though because of the division behind it. Because a lot of people love it, a lot of people really hate it.
It really brought back Jason. Though.
Yeah,
that's why it was like super important.
I will agree with that.
Super important.
It's definitely a very polarizing film.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, that's what I think about it. If you're
it was raunchy too.
It was, yeah.
Junior, you remember her?
Yeah.
Ate your fucking stew. Like I'm like, damn. Like we don't need these over the top characters. Like,
yeah, snapping on people.
Like people like this don't exist like very much.
Yeah,
believe it or
really.
not. Like
not really.
These over exaggerated,
just so over the top. Yeah.
Like I'm gonna break your fucking head open. I got a bomb on me, Sheriff. You remember that shit? Like, come on now.
Oh man.
Maybe back in the 80s, people like that existed, which makes me want to live in the 80s even more.
I mean,
now.
Final Exam was kind of like that too,
Yeah, Final Exam was pretty cheesy. It just had that like, damn, that's a pretty good comparison. Final Exam and Friday the 13th Part 5, like, yeah, it did have that same like cheesy like campy.
I don't know, just the way like the characters acted.
Yeah, everything was like super over the top. Like, whoa, like, but it was good. I enjoyed the kills in this movie. That's what I liked.
That's a zinger.
Roy was just a paramedic, and then we just seen him completely fucking snap. So that's what I liked. I mean, because it was just
cool.
like it was like Mrs. Voorhees all over again.
Yeah.
Oh, they could have brought back Joey as the killer. Remember the kid that got chopped up, Roy's son? He would have been the new Jason.
Like if they were going supernatural anyway.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting for sure.
He
would have looked like Frankenstein.
His arms were chopped off too. He was like 5'8" too. He wouldn't have been.
Yeah, but he was like fat or whatever, right? Like he had an eating disorder or something like that.
But hey, you wouldn't have to worry about him catching you.
Yeah, this is true. What if he was like that and he was fast? That would be scary.
Yeah, that would be horrible. It'll be like critters.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like
yeah.
a giant critter coming after you.
Yeah. Basically a giant ass bear.
We gotta address critters at some point or another.
Oh, for sure.
Because
For
it's
sure.
a bad, good horror movie.
I like that movie.
I love critters.
But speaking of films that are kind of polarizing and people love, some people hate, we're gonna talk about The Monster Project. So I saw this pretty recently, and this is the focus of our main discussion here. I feel like this is like a mid-key movie. Like, some people know about it in the horror community, at least, and some other people don't really know about it that much. But
I think if you're even integrated, even in the least bit, into the horror community, not like you're just a person who goes and sees movies at theaters, but
right.
like you're like a fanatic, like we are.
Like you collect DVD, Blu-rays, and
you've
shit.
probably heard about this, and
Yeah.
you've been wondering if you want to pass it up or watch it. And I think that you should give it a chance. I'll say that off the bat.
For sure.
And then we'll, elaborate more.
I'll agree
on
with that. I know that because I actually saw something about found footage movies today on Reddit. And I read like a couple comments that were people just basically saying, I've been so burnt out on found footage films. Like, I can't do found footage anymore. It's all the same shit and stuff like that. I don't think this movie is the same thing at all.
And
I mean, in some ways.
And
but
I don't know why he's burnt out from found footage films. Like, they're all completely different from each other.
There are many that kind of follow the same premise. Like, Blair Witch started it, but it wasn't like something that we couldn't really see. All these movies are like teenagers for some reason like chasing a monster, and they like decide to videotape it, like it's gonna be a good idea and shit,
right?
Like all those movies, like there's been Sasquatch ones, there's been a vampire one,
Slenderman, the Marble Hornets.
Yeah,
what was it called? Always
yeah.
Watching. Have you seen that?
No, but I know what you're talking about. I will at some point for sure, but yeah, like all those movies are basically the same premise, and honestly they're all really bad.
But this one has like, all of those like type of creatures. So
yeah, so that's why I think it's pretty cool.
How did this start off? There was this director, he wanted to make a documentary.
Yeah.
So he reached out, he said he found a real vampire, a real skinwalker.
He was like looking for them because he had an idea for a TV series, and was like, hey, what if we reach out and see if there are real monsters out there, and we'll fucking do a documentary on them, and we'll be like, oh yeah, I'm sure you're a real mummy or whatever, but they don't
and then
really
shit
believe
starts
it.
unfolding when that Native American dude just starts fucking.
But they got real monsters, and they got like a little Japanese girl who was possessed by a demon too.
I loved that concept. Like,
yeah.
Like you said, it was like a pretty like not
cool.
well thought out like idea. Like, hey, how about we just get some monsters together?
Yeah. But at the same time, that's
like
new.
It is new,
especially in found footage. We don't see that,
and they did it well. Like,
I think they did
the
too,
way
yeah.
the way they presented the film was great. Like, I mean, you knew immediately shit was gonna go down because they just wouldn't be like, "Yo, we're looking for a vampire, a skinwalker, and a demon." Like, and you're not like, "Oh, they're totally not gonna find them." Like,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Nothing good happens in found footage horror movies. Like, oh look, we found Atlantis. No, we didn't.
Man, yeah, I don't know, but in found footage, this has never really been something that's been done. So I really liked that, and it didn't take super long for them to really get into it. But yeah, I liked it.
That's what I loved about it.
They just went to this like random house that was like owned by this dude and his like catatonic wife. Like, she's just in a wheelchair. She's not talking or anything, and they're like really creepy. The house is like pitch black except for like a single light bulb and shit. And they're just like, okay, I guess we're gonna set up and document some monsters now. And they really did. They just set up like a table, and they had like 2 cameras or a camera or something, and like a light. And then they interviewed these 3 things, and they were all pretty creepy. And then like immediately after that, we start seeing like them turn into monsters and shit and go after the fucking people.
Right? Like, I
just thought that was great.
They deserve it too. Like, hey, like, the lesson that this teaches, if you're gonna go looking for shit, you're gonna fucking find it.
Probably, yeah.
And don't be surprised when you find it.
Especially if you think you're not gonna find it.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
The number one rule of horror movies: nothing is impossible. Okay.
Yeah.
And for some reason, do you ever think like, if you're like, hey, I'm gonna record some stuff, bro, but I talk to these people, they say they're real life monsters.
Yeah.
Like, even if let's say this is a real life situation, right? Even if they're not, do you really want to go to an abandoned house with three strangers who claim that they're monsters?
No, definitely not.
This sounds, and we haven't really talked about this that much. We talked about it when we talked about the idea for this podcast. This is that dumb white people shit that we fucking
Yeah. And you know what's even worse? They find themselves in that exact like group composition of like the token black guy.
Yep.
Just the regular kind of white dude, except in this movie he's a drug addict, which is a little different.
And then there's a douchebag.
There's the douchebag, and then there's like the hot chick, you know.
It had like,
who's not a virgin.
Yeah, so yeah, I wonder what happens to her. So
Right.
they had the whole recipe for any type of horror movie.
Basically Cabin in the Woods if it wasn't.
And they had
Cabin
3
in the
different
Woods.
monsters, so they had no choice but to make the shit work.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have every like cliche and every type of character, you better have every type of monster too, and just wing it and see what happens. And that's what they did. And like the way they executed it was like really well, I think.
I would agree with that, because you know what it had too was that I actually would compare this movie to Grave Encounters.
Yeah.
It had the not the exact same CGI, but the CGI was very similar, and it had, you know, like the night vision mode on the camera and shit, so you just saw like green and black, which I thought was cool, especially with those fucking monsters, like, because you know you're in darkness. I think that's like the most terrifying thing is like, you know that you can see them through this camera, but that's it. If you lose that camera, it's just pitch black,
And they
there's
always
fucking
lose
monsters.
the camera. They always lose the camera.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's like one of the main things. Like, you have to lose your fucking camera.
Yeah.
You have to lose a pair of keys. You can't just walk out of these situations. Like,
yeah, I would actually also probably. I really love Grave Encounters, but I also probably
second one was even better, I think.
The
ending
I
was
thought it
fucked
really
up
good,
when he
for
bashed her
sure.
fucking head in.
Yeah, but another movie that I would probably compare this to is Wreck, which I
haven't
think I
seen
keep
it.
recommending to you. It's
keep
really
telling
good.
me to watch it.
Honestly,
The original one, right?
Yeah, it's probably my favorite found footage film.
What was that fucking what did they remake it in English?
Quarantine.
Quarantine?
Yeah, you remember that kind of ugly chick
Yeah.
on the cover in like the airplane, or you know, whatever.
I never watched
She's, like,
Quarantine.
grabbing.
Like, even growing
was,
up, I was probably like 11 years old when those movies came out and stuff, like movies like Quarantine and all that. But like, I was never really into them. Like, when I'd see like stuff like Quarantine or like some radioactive, like I wasn't into it. You know, like I just.
You know what though?
I just couldn't get
It's not that. It's actually a twist.
zombies.
But no. Just watch it. You have to see. It's got a good twist.
You fucker.
But I really enjoy it, and I think that you should watch it. And if you're a fan of found footage films and you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Part 2 was even okay. Part 3 and 4 were kind of weird, but Part 1 is like one of my favorite horror movies.
Where did they record Wreck?
It was. I know it was a Spanish film, so I think it was in Spain.
I mean, they could have did it in like Argentina or something. You know. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of good Argentinian horror movies as well.
But that one's pretty cool because similar to the Monster Project, it kind of takes place more in like an urban environment.
Yeah.
So Wreck was in just like this like apartment block, like this dingy apartment block, and the Monster Project just takes place in this dingy, like urban ass looking Detroit house. You know?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. But it makes total sense. I think it's in like LA or something though. But I know they have like a pretty urban area as well. So
the creepiest part is like when like each of like the monsters was like describing themselves and shit, and like they were talking to the skinwalker, and they were like, well, we heard being a skinwalker you have to like sell your soul to the devil or some shit. And then like as soon as the skinwalker dude showed himself, I shit myself. Like I was like, all right, that's the coolest motherfucker out of all of these guys. Like,
yeah, I really like the vampire too, but I'm kind of more biased. But yeah, no, they were all pretty cool. I didn't like the demon quite as much, but I think that they just went a little over the top with the CGI on that. But overall, I really liked all of them. And what I really liked about this film is that it was pretty non-stop. Like once the monsters started attacking them.
That's what I liked. It wasn't like there was no like stagnant, like doing nothing like for like long periods of time.
Just a lot of shit happened.
Like I'm glad like
intense.
they got into contact with these monsters like immediately. Like, but think about how dumb that concept is. Like, you think these monsters are that desperate to like just kill people that
it was weird.
They'd be like, all right, just these random people, cool. And then we find out like the douchebag guy is like, you know,
spoiler alert,
he's like behind everything. Yeah, and he's like doing some sacrifice for Satan and shit, and like
it became a little more predictable toward the end, but. I mean, because he just like disappeared or something. We never saw his body or anything for a while. But, you know, I still think it was a cool ending, little twist ending, even though you could kind of tell something was gonna go
yeah.
on with him, you know. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was cool. You know, there's not enough twist endings. I feel like a lot of them just end like really sad.
Yeah, they really do.
You know?
Like the no.
I guess this was kind of the same way.
This
though,
was a
but
No Hope movie, but I enjoyed it.
yeah, it was still
Like, they're
a
not all
cool-
bad. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Like, once in a while to do it is like, all right, cool. I thought they were gonna find a way to
Mhm.
get out of it, and they
right.
didn't.
Yeah,
I'm sad now.
yeah.
But now it's like, oh, good. Fuck those guys. Like, I'm glad they died. Like,
yeah.
why would you? Why would you contact 3 people who you believe are monsters? Like, they're clearly sick in the head, even if they're
Yeah.
not monsters. But you know, it's a movie, so
If
they were monsters.
If
Like,
somebody was convinced that they were a vampire, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, buddy. I guess I'll see you later."
right?
I would leave him on red.
I would like taser him.
Yeah, for real. Just like, here you go, cops.
Right? I would call the FBI. Like,
Yeah, for real. You know, leave a tip.
I swear.
Yeah. But overall, though, I really liked it. You know, it had that cool like Grave Encounters style to it. It was nonstop, just totally in your face, and they always alternated between like what monsters would be attacking them and shit. But it was always like terrifying, you know, because they were just in pitch blackness, right?
That was the best part.
And they
of
just
it.
came out at you.
And it wasn't like the pitch blackness, like how a lot of these found footage movies do, where like shaky camera, you can't really see shit.
Oh yeah, you could see everything.
That's why I really love this one. You could see fucking.
That's
everything.
why it kind of suspends my disbelief, because every time they get attacked and like he holds onto the camera or some shit,
Yeah,
I'm like, bro, these are like
for like 3 seconds just so we could see the monster breaking through the door.
Yeah.
and then they turn the camera.
but they like always just end up getting out of it somehow, and I'm just
Last
like, Jesus
second.
fucking Christ, are these like some superheroes?
Yeah,
Like, are these the Power Rangers without their morphers or some
they
shit?
just
you
got
know?
into some shit with
Yeah.
monsters.
I mean, I don't know, bro. Something, but they're like superhuman. I'm like, oh man.
We need to have more movies like this where like different type of monsters get together
Yeah.
and like terrorize people.
I love crossover stuff, but
It works. It works really well.
Yeah, it happens so like, you know, less now, and I get it because it's kind of a novelty, you know. Like
Yeah.
that's why there aren't that many of them. But yeah, I thought this one was really cool for sure. And you know, I think it did a lot to like keep found footage alive almost. Like maybe that's a little too dramatic, but you know, we weren't really seeing that many like great found footage films in like the last, I don't know, 2 years or something.
I mean, I've never seen a found footage film with a skinwalker. You know, this was like the
Yeah,
first
no,
one.
I
for
agree
me.
with that for sure. That's why, you know, I think it helped for sure, because it had this whole crossover element, and it just did a lot of new shit, you know.
Yeah, because usually in like
So-
a vampire's world, like they don't talk about werewolves or anything like that. You know,
Mhm.
you don't get to
Yeah.
learn about like anything else besides
Mhm.
like what it's the main focus of. So if they
Yeah.
run into a vampire in the
Mhm.
in the found footage, fucking stupid.
It kind of is. I don't know.
But if they, you know, like a vampire never runs into a werewolf in
Mhm.
these movies. You know, they completely ignore each other. You know,
Yeah.
like they don't talk about werewolves and
Yeah.
vampires. So
That's pretty cool.
this kind of incorporated like all three. Even skinwalkers. I haven't even thought about that. I haven't seen a
Mhm.
skinwalkers movie since. What was that?
Actual skinwalkers.
What was it? The guy when or was it called? It was called Sleepwalkers. Do you remember that with
Yeah,
the guy
yeah,
Leo
yeah.
and
Mhm.
he had like he was a like cat person or whatever that could
Oh,
like
yeah.
disappear and like he had
No,
a,
there's
he had
been
a weird
some,
relationship with his mom.
There's
It
been
was,
some
like,
more.
fucking
There's
freaky.
like late phases. You still have to see that. That one was pretty good. There's been a few others, but yeah, there haven't really been quite that many, and those weren't even really skinwalkers that much. I don't know, but yeah, so it's interesting for sure. But apart from that though, like I definitely think that the Monster Project and a couple other movies are like making found footage kind of relevant again. I really like The Houses That October Built, and even part 2 was pretty good. And then Hell House LLC,
Oh, that's on Amazon Prime.
I actually
What is that about?
really liked it.
Is
so
that found
basi-
footage?
Yeah, so basically, this like group of friends gets together and buys this like roadside motel that's been like abandoned or whatever, and they like they hype it up like you know, a lot, and so many people are hyped to like just go to this. I think they're trying to do it as like a museum or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Or no, a haunted house. They're trying to do.
Yeah, I read that in the description.
Yeah, they're trying to make it a haunted house, and so lots of people are hyped for this. But basically, the whole movie is them like preparing the haunted house, and then like the actual opening night where just shit goes completely wrong. So, and basically, there's like a paranormal, you know,
I love that.
entity like in the building.
It would be
It's cool.
You know what they haven't done, and I really haven't seen it. I don't know if you have a found footage film like where people are exploring maybe like an abandoned house or something, and there's a murderer instead of like instead of a paranormal thing. That would be crazy. Because no one's expecting to just get chopped up.
Has there been something like that?
There used to be this thing on YouTube.
Creep maybe, but
Nah.
but it's like
There
deliberate.
There
while
used
she's
to be
meeting
this
with
thing on YouTube. It was found footage from Flint, Michigan. It was kind of popular. So like they were looking around. These two kids were looking around this abandoned house, and they found blood all over the floor. And they found like a shovel with blood on it. And like they were looking through the garage. And at one point, when this kid's like walking by the garage, a guy yanks him into the garage. Like he had a dirty arm. Like it looked like a grown man, and these were teenagers, you know.
Oh
and, like,
wow.
and then the guy like took off and he ran away like on his friend.
And what movie was this?
Oh, it wasn't a movie. It was real found footage from someone bought a camera from a Michigan pawn shop and they uploaded the footage to YouTube.
Wow.
I'm gonna try to find that.
That does sound really good, actually.
It was fucked up, bro.
Because real shit is always more fucked up because you know what's actually happening. Damn, that sounds good. Actually, I don't know if there has been a movie like that. Honestly.
Right, like
some that are like with people, but maybe not like a slasher
it's usually
killer.
like cults, you know?
Right.
It's not like just some murderer who's gonna bash your head in.
But yeah, not really like a slasher killer ever before. So that would be interesting for sure. But you know, maybe we'll see it with the Monster Project coming out, having some success. Who knows? You know, people might actually start having original ideas again.
There needs to be another super Hollywood found footage, but not Paranormal Activity, not anything that's ever been done before.
Yeah.
They need to like reinvent the whole found footage
That would
thing.
be cool.
Like,
What if we saw something like Making a Murderer, but you know, a fictional film, but in that like perspective? I think that would be cool.
yeah, I think so
You
too.
know. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think that it helped found footage still kind of be relevant. I mean, a lot of people might hate it. I don't know, but we enjoyed it. So hopefully it just keeps it up and found footage still becomes a thing. But I like the Monster Project, and you know, I want to say one thing real quick. I like that it actually had a little character development to it.
It really did, yeah.
Because especially for like the white bread guy, the drug addict guy,
Yeah,
like you know, he was dealing with
Drug-
not only fucking monsters, but also drug addiction.
Yeah.
And we could see his like growth throughout the film. You know, he kind of ends up being like the hero,
Big tries.
or tries to be anyway. So. Yeah, but I thought that was cool. At least they added some dimension to the characters, you know, or at least that one character specifically, which was nice because they usually don't do that in found footage.
Yeah, and like I don't know. Do you think it had any sort of message behind it? What do you think was the general? I don't think it did. I think it was.
You know, with the fucking monsters in it, I'm not quite so sure.
Exactly.
But
That's what I was. I think this was just a fun little found footage
yeah,
movie.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe there was something behind that, but. I don't know. I take it how I see it, you know.
Back in the day, if you'd make a found footage movie like in the 80s, people would be like, "There's no way he's gonna find real monsters."
Yeah.
Oh my god. Nowadays, it's like he's gonna find real monsters, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yawn. Like, but this wasn't that at all.
Right. It'd be cool if there was one about them finding, you know, monsters on accident. But yeah.
They need to do a found footage movie where they find Frankenstein, but he's like actually like scary and he like bashes people's heads in. And
that would be cool.
Like kind of like the House by the Cemetery type character.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Not like a slasher though, maybe, but like more like a just skull crusher like type thing.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool for
Why
sure.
not bring back Frankenstein in a badass way?
Yeah, because the last couple of Frankenstein movies that they released, they've been trying too hard to rehash the character, and it's just been.
I'm sorry,
terrible.
Frankenstein's monster. That's him.
Yes, Frankenstein's monster.
Not Frankenstein. That's the doctor.
Yeah. They know what we meant. We know what we're talking about here, but yeah, no, that I think that would be pretty cool for sure. We'll see.
I mean, then that would kind of, then like they would take then I think everyone would like take those classic like Hollywood monsters from back in the day and like start making them more badass.
Yeah, because now they're actually still trying to expand that universe,
You see
but
what
like
they
a
did
new
to
universe.
Dracula. Like that was pretty badass.
That was cool. But then they made the Mummy, and it was like that chick.
Didn't they make the Mummy
with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, with Tom Cruise. Oh my god, bro.
But the Mummy was like that chick, you know, like that pretty model chick, not like that
Emo
weird
dude. Remember
dude.
Emo Tip?
Yeah, he was cool. You know, I liked him. But the new one's just weird.
Yeah, they just changed it around, and I'm not
Yeah.
hating just because.
And like the Wolfman, that one.
But like, come on, Tom Cruise is the main character, and like,
Yeah.
you changed the whole movie. Like, I get it's like.
And remember the Wolfman? At least that had the cool like Victorian setting.
I really like the Wolfman.
Okay, that's fair.
But like,
I can see how you would, but for me, like the CGI was just a little too bad.
but the newer movies don't have like the same feel as even movies from like, let's say.
That's true.
Like. Let's say like from like I said 03 to 08.
Yeah.
I think that era was better for like
for
every type of movie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because like they weren't like as cliche.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like they had
they were more serious. They had more substance.
They seemed a little bit more. They had more freedom in the direction they chose for the movie to go. They didn't just fall into these like
because they weren't quite so
same
Hollywood dominated back then.
Like remember the 8 films to die for, like the Grave Dancers and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that movie a lot.
I think that was the prime. I think for me for paranormal movies.
Yeah,
like near when they were releasing Grave Dancers and all that stuff. That's when like Dead Silence came out and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, not to get too off topic, but I think we're actually going to be talking about a good newer paranormal movie. But yeah, just to wrap up on the Monster Project and found footage, I think there are definitely a lot of found footage gems out there. And I hope that they keep making them. But the Monster Project was cool. It was just a monster mishmash as like a Grave Encounters style found footage film. So I really liked it.
I really liked it too. It's like a 7.8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it's not like incredible, but it was a fun movie.
Like if it has rewatch value.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The monsters, I'll give them 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
There's no final girl or final guy, so
yeah.
I give that 0 out of 10. And like the plot, 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
But the execution was like 10 out of 10, so that's why I give it like a 7.8 total.
For what it was, yeah, I would say that's probably accurate. It was good. It pulled off what it wanted to do successfully. But we're gonna move on now, and so let us know what you think about the Monster Project if you've seen it. It's on Amazon Prime now, so if you have that. And why wouldn't you? You could just go check it out.
Right, everyone has Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to not pay for extra shipping?
Right.
Just pay for it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And then just buy away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever you need.
What's wrong with you?
You get it in like 2 days.
Amazon Prime, motherfucker.
And you get all these movies.
We're not paid to say this shit either.
No, but yeah, it's just what we think. So, moving on now, we are going to discuss a newer film, and we're going to do that in a little segment we like to call The Chopping Block. So this week's Chopping Block is actually going to focus on a film which a lot of you may actually know about and probably have seen, called It Follows. So this was actually kind of a bigger film in horror, most recently, because it came out, a lot of people didn't really know what to expect, and it seemed kind of like it had a, more normal premise. But honestly, I think that the movie's really unique, and it executed, I think, also probably at like a 10 out of 10 level for what it was trying to do. I thought it had a really creepy atmosphere. It was just very unsettling. Like, it made you think about a lot of shit.
Yeah, I agree.
And the cinematography and the score, oh my God, the score.
The score was so good.
Those aspects of it, I think, were phenomenal.
And the entity.
Oh yeah,
like how it presented itself. Like,
it was sick.
You just have to keep going and keep going and keep going. Otherwise, it would just keep coming after you. Or you have to transfer it to someone, but then they have to transfer it to someone.
Yeah. So it had kind of an interesting message. But yeah, I mean, the movie, the reason that we're even talking about it in the first place is that, because it just recently got released on Netflix. Actually, maybe not that recently. I'm not sure, but it's still trending on there.
It's trending a lot.
Like big time.
It should be.
I agree, definitely. So if you've been neglecting this movie or like thinking about watching it but you're not really sure you have I don't know how have time for it, like I'd rather watch some other shit or whatever, do yourself a favor and watch it.
You remember I put it off until last week.
Yeah. I basically made you watch it.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it because I heard really good things about it, but I kind of just didn't want to fall into the hype because know I'm kind of like nihilistic, so like
yeah,
but
I knew you'd
there was hype for a good reason. I really liked. At the beginning, they don't explain what the fuck is going on. They don't give this thing a backstory.
Yeah.
It's just this guy took this girl. He had sex with her. He took her, showed her that, like, now a monster's going to be following her around. Like,
yeah. And it was just that naked woman. but that's a spoiler alert. I really like the fact that they never really revealed what it is.
I don't even remember the ending of this film.
Oh, it was she had sex with the nerdy guy who liked her, supposedly giving it to him, but then he was always like, oh, I haven't seen anything, I haven't felt any type of weird way or anything, so they thought that they had gotten rid of it. And but then at the end they're like walking and holding hands, and we see someone behind them, so we're not sure if it's the thing or if it's just a regular person.
I like that they left it off on that.
Me too.
They probably shouldn't make a sequel.
I honestly haven't heard anything about that, and I don't think that they will, but I definitely hope that they don't. But yeah, I actually have a kind of a quote here too about why nothing was really revealed. So if you're interested in that, I was actually I never read this until today. So David Robert Mitchell, the actual creator of the film, the director, said in a Guardian newspaper article in 2015, I'm not personally that interested in where it comes from. To me, it's dream logic in the sense that they're in a nightmare, and when you're in a nightmare, there's no solving the nightmare, which is so true, even if you try to solve it. And then he says that while Jay, the main character, opens herself up to danger through sex is the one way in which she can free herself from that danger. We're all here for a limited amount of time, and we can't escape our mortality, but love and sex are two ways in which we can, at least temporarily, push death away, which I think is really interesting.
Really well said.
Definitely. So, and the movie is basically just left up to interpretation as to like what the kind of message or theme is, but regardless of that though, I feel like just the way that they approached, the actual like supernatural horror elements of the film were done in a really good way, because it always left you uneasy thinking like, hey, is that person that's walking over there like, the thing? Or is it just like a regular person? And basically at like every turn of the film, you were thinking that, right?
I mean, yeah, and like, what I also really liked is like the movie was called It Follows, and like it wasn't just a presence that like this invisible presence that was following you.
It was like an actual entity.
Yeah, like, and the thing is like, usually unless you're paying really close attention, you can't really tell like where it is, like, or who it is,
exactly,
until like it's kind of like, so you gotta like get your ass moving
until you actually realize like, oh, that thing is walking weird, slower than everybody else, and it's just coming right at this girl, So yeah, I really like that. And like I said, I thought that the cinematography and the score and the lighting and all that stuff was also really good and really just well done. But another thing that I kind of liked about the movie too is that, it was shot in Michigan, and we could kind of see that in the more like urban, I guess, area that they're in.
Oh yeah, I remember they went to that sewage spot that they called the pool, whatever. They think it was a pool or something. They said it was
something like that.
It was right next to where we had our prom at. It was right next to the rooster tail.
Oh really? Was it?
Yeah, it's right next door. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
You could throw a rock through the window from the rooster tail. Yeah.
Oh damn. Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. And then they were in that like dude's house,
and they were on,
and it was just like totally in Detroit,
and they were on like 12 Mile and Garfield, you know, like
yeah. So if you're from the Metro Detroit area, you know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, you've been to every location in this movie,
every
probably.
Like street. So I liked how they approached like the whole urban aspect of the film too. It definitely felt more real because it wasn't so like done up like Hollywood style. The place that they live in is like fucking perfect. Everyone's got like picket fences and stuff,
right.
Shit like that. So it wasn't to like quite the normal, group of people. So I think that gave it like a little bit more humanity almost. And then you had the entity, which just looked like, people.
Death. But it still looked like.
But they had like a human appearance,
Yeah, you could just see in their eyes though that wasn't like a real person.
Yeah, it was something. But yeah, I like that they kept it open to
interpretation. I like how like the cinematography though matched like the pace of the it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like I don't know, the pace matched like it. Because if you had this thing sprinting toward you all the time and you had this suspenseful movie, you'd be like, all right, this is kind of erratic. Yeah. But they did that really well.
Yeah, they made it slow moving and they slowed the cinematography down when we could see it. And usually it just kept it on like a static shot, or maybe they just like pulled out a little bit or something, you know, and we could see it moving with it. But I just thought, yeah, I think they handled that really well. They definitely knew how to like control the mood or like the vibe of the movie, you know, especially when like they portrayed the creature. So I thought that was really good.
And the best part was like all the moments of suspense, like when she slept with that one guy and then she asked him if like he saw anything at all yet, and then randomly we see it breaking into his house. It just rolls through the front window. Like,
oh yeah,
you remember that? Like, which is kind of like a flaw to some Michigan homes. You can literally like just like roll through the window. Unfortunately, at some of the suburban areas where like the windows are too close to the floor.
Yeah, he just broke through that bitch
and just rolled
with
through,
that rock.
Just rolled through, like did a barrel roll.
Normally, you just rip your stomach open through with with the glass and shit.
Yeah, easily.
But yeah, that was a pretty crazy part. Remember the beach part?
Oh man, that was like one of the best.
Great. Yeah, that was great. You just see her hair like fly up.
They couldn't kill the thing though. But what's crazy is the thing was tangible.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting
even
that.
from the other people. They just couldn't see it. So it's interesting to form theories about like kind of what it is, but I agree. I hope we never really see a part 2. I definitely think this movie is safe from the chopping block. You should definitely go see it if you have the chance. But I do hope that it just stays like this movie, because I think it ends it honestly perfectly. Like it's just it's just a loop. Like you're just going through it, and it's not, it doesn't really have a resolution, honestly.
There really isn't.
It's pretty open-ended.
That's why it's good.
Yeah,
open-ended movies are the best.
Yeah, some of them leave you actually like desperate, because they present the final act in like the really stupid way. But this movie, because it kind of leaves it on a happy ending, but then you're not sure.
I don't think it was a happy ending though.
I mean, I agree, but like it makes you think like, maybe it could be. So I like that.
I think like not allowing us to see what happens after, like it's like the movie's done. Like that's all. I think that is all we need to know.
Yeah, there's something going on. It's weird as fuck. Is it over? Probably not, but maybe.
And they said we can't explain it, right? So there's no point even making a sequel or explaining the ending.
Yeah.
Like, ending it abruptly and showing that like the thing is probably not gone. That's a good enough explanation. Like because the overall like the thing that was following her, it wasn't anything specific. Like he said, like the whole movie was just conceptual.
Yeah,
like big time
for sure. So so you agree? Not Chopped?
Not Chopped. No, okay. I love this film.
Yeah, definitely go watch it if you've been putting it off. I think it's really good.
You should. I was kind of...
And it's a great independent horror film.
Yeah, listen, I was putting it off. I'm a horror nerd. I like the old stuff. I like the 90s stuff. I like the early 2000s stuff. Everything up until now. But this is a good now movie. Even in early 2000s standards, 90s standards, 80s standards. I think this film is going to withstand the test of time. Like 10 years from now, this is still going to be... One of the films like, hey, you guys want to watch this film? Yeah. It's Friday night, you're with your friends, right?
Yeah. It's definitely going to be cult, for sure.
It is definitely.
I would even say it kind of is now, except it's not old enough to be considered cult.
Was this in the theater, or was it straight to Netflix?
I believe that this did come out in theaters. I could be wrong, though, but I think so. Yeah. This was kind of in the middle of like the whole Netflix domination, but not quite as much. But
what I liked is though there was none of the cliches, no dumb white people stuff, no hey, let's see what that noise was, because like
they're always sticking together.
There was no real time to even plan. You just had to had to keep running from it. Like,
and they always stuck together, which is good.
Yeah. Let's split up. Like why? I think Cabin in the Woods explained that like sufficiently.
Yeah, you can't really do that dumb shit anymore, or else you're just gonna get ripped by people who've seen Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, go check out It Follows for sure. Really good. Go check out The Monster Project. Actually, today we've kind of talked a lot about, more modern movies, so I like that. Definitely keep up watching the new stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, if you have Netflix or Amazon Prime, you'll have no problem with that. But, yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do it. As always, a shout out to Sports Radio Detroit for hosting us, and we're glad that you guys are watching. Go check out all our social media, and where can they find us, Sam?
They can find us on Twitter at Grave Discussions, and they can find us on Instagram at Grave Discussions, and they can find us on Facebook at Grave Discussions. We're the only ones with that name. We're clever. No other horror podcast has started that.
Oh, I had someone tell me the other day that they liked our name.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I'm glad, because we we put some thought into that. And
What did we have before? We had Terror Talk. That was one of
Terror
our...
Talk, yeah, I think we did have the chopping block as like our main title. But
Yeah, From Beyond.
yeah,
some
something like that,
shit.
from the grave or something. But Grave Discussions is what it is, and we're trying to build the brand. And if you're listening to this right now, we thank you, of course. So shout outs
So
as
much.
always to our fans and listeners. But for that, I think we're done with episode number 13.
And we'll see you next week.
On Grave Discussions.
This has been an SRD production.